Welcome to Baking for Beginners. So today we're going to talk about prepping one of the fancier cake pans out there, the Bundt pan. Prepping them so your cake doesn't stick inside is vital. So for most cake pans, you would use parchment paper. For this scenario, you're not getting parchment in here. So we do have to rely on the classic method, which is butter it and flour it. That's not a trick. I know how to do that already. Well, the thing about buttering and flouring is if you have something with all these little corners and these little fine points, using your fingers isn't always fast or easy. It's a little messy. So it might seem like a simple tool, but I highly recommend you get a pastry brush, especially if you're gonna be doing a lot of baking for the holidays. Now you can get these at a baking store for a few bucks, or you can go to a hardware store because it's just a paintbrush. So maybe save a little bit of money, maybe save a little time if you have one nearby. The bristles on this are obviously really fine. They'll splay out along the ridges as you brush it with butter, and you can do this in under 30 seconds, depending on how much of a rush you're in. You want to use softened butter. Hard butter is not going to work, and if it's very melted, it might not create that layer that you're looking for. So softened like this is perfect. Get all up in those nooks and crannies. Depending on how much cake batter you're making, you might not have to go all the way up the sides of the pan. If you like to just be careful, better safe than sorry, butter up the whole side, no problem. All right, you don't really want any clumps in there, so if you see any big blobs of butter, just kind of wipe those down. You want them to be thin. All right, so my butter is layered in there, got all the little crevices. Now I'm gonna put flour in here. So I suggest doing the post first. Tap a little flour on there, rotate it, and you can see that as it falls down, it's coating the center. All right, as you're rotating it and getting the flour to coat all of that butter, give it some good smacks because you don't want flour chunks in here. Get a thin coating, but a complete coating. So my Bundt pan is completely prepped and ready for some cake baking. So get out there and bake some cakes and stay tuned to Lifehacker for some more baking tips and tricks.